What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Gippetto here, back in the building. First of all, Happy New Year. Happy 2024. I know we pretty much 2 weeks in the new year already. Look, I had plans on having some videos out for y'all. Let me do a quick update. Remember, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do that right now. I'm going to give y'all 10 seconds. Like, you subscribe, you left a comment, you shared it. Okay, good. We good. What's up, cousins? Anyway, y'all, I had plans on putting some videos out for y'all the last 2 weeks at the top of the year because I had asked a friend if they could edit. I was actually telling the friend I gotta find time to edit these two videos I wanted to do because I had like a lot of footage in my cell phone that I wanted to put in the videos, and my friend told me they would do it, and then it was just a whole bunch of back and forth, and nevertheless they didn't do the video. So quick life update. The reason why I was so busy the past 2 weeks, I got hired on a movie set. I've been working on this. I can't tell y'all what movie it is just yet. um I think the last video I made was the last week of December, maybe on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve for y'all. And I want to say like 2 days after that, I got a call and I got hired on this movie, and we're doing a whole bunch of pre-production now, so I'll be on this set for like 8 weeks. So God is good, and I got some other big news coming. But like I said, yes, I've been super busy. So the only reason I'm gonna try to knock all these videos out for y'all today because today is Martin Luther King Day. Happy Martin Luther King Day to all my beautiful melanated people out there and all our allies. Rest in power to Martin Luther King. But yeah, so hopefully that friend edits the videos and I will have them out to you as soon as possible. So I'm just knocking a whole bunch of videos out for y'all today. So be ready. Videos are going to start rolling out. But I want to talk about the color purple uh, reimagining, the set issues, the interviews, and all that stuff. And let me first off start off by saying I was so excited um, about the Color Purple reboot. The first Color Purple, in full transparency, y'all, I never watched it fully. It came out before I was born. And I don't know. Every time I started to watch it, I tried watching it as a kid. Every time I started watching it, like in the 90s, I just was like not interested. And I just have never made it through the entire Color Purple movie. Maybe 20 minutes in, I kind of fall asleep or doze off. But I know it's a great movie that launched the careers of, Whoopi Goldberg, who was a favorite of mine, Oprah, who was a favorite of mine, and like people like Quincy Jones and Steven Spielberg had a huge hand in it. And I also know they got done really wrong by a lot of the award shows because a lot of y'all don't know this. Well, some of my older subscribers or people who come across this video, the reason why it didn't do good at a lot of award shows is because the NAACP was openly protesting and against the movie. So a lot of the award show didn't want the smoke, so they might have nominated them, but they didn't win. Fast forward to Color Purple. I had heard about it. I was actually trying to get hired on the set. I knew a few people who were attached to it, and I was telling them like, yo, I love to work on it. I don't have no problem going up to Savannah, and I didn't get hired. I didn't know the right people to get me on, but I know like two people who worked on the film. I was excited, especially when I saw the trailer, because Halle Bailey, she had this whole momentum going with the Little Mermaid, and in the trailer for Color Purple drop, I was like, yo, this young lady is about to be an EGOT winner before she turns 25, because I think Halle Bailey is like 23 or 24. So I was excited. And anytime I see a whole bunch of black people on screen, and I know there's a lot of black people behind the scenes, that's why I'm excited. I don't know what went wrong, but it seemed like all the press that slowly started coming out, it was just negative. And to give y'all an example of the type of press, mainly led by Taraji, this is not a video to like diss Taraji, but this is pretty much what Taraji was saying.
Being said, where's my raise? I haven't seen a raise in my income since Proud Mary, and almost had to walk away from Color Purple. What? Yes, ma'am. Who said what? Yes, ma'am. I remember when we first came in and we were doing rehearsal and they put us all in the same space. Like we didn't have our own dressing rooms at the time and they did not give us it. They did not give us it. Sorry, Miss Owen. We ain't had no food. She had no idea. You got something to eat up in there?
Okay.
We home.
So you see, there was like there's several interviews, especially with Taraji, but there's been this whole thing on these press interviews with Taraji just putting the Color Purple on blast. I don't know what has happened in the last couple of years. Where is this we hate Oprah hate train, especially in black spaces? But as somebody who works in television and movie and production, I'm going to tell you this. Y'all should not be blaming Oprah. And I'm going to break it down to you out because a lot of y'all don't understand how movie sets work. Okay? All right. Let's just say, I'm going to give an example. Let's say y'all work for Home Depot, right? You work for Home Depot in North Carolina. I'm just throwing stuff out there. You work for a Home Depot corporate office in North Carolina. But Home Depot's CEO and the main big corporate office is in Atlanta, right? 9 times out of 10, you as the employee who is working in the office in North Carolina, you probably will never have any interactions with the CEO. The CEO, the CFOs, the top dogs on top. You're not. Unless something really, really big happens in your office, you are not going to be interacting with the top people. You have a chain of command. You have leads, supervisors, assistant managers, then you have regional managers, then you have district managers. You have so much people before shit hits the fan and it gets to the CEO and stuff like that. That is the same thing with a movie set, you guys. The same exact thing. So let me break it down for you. When you see like executive producers and stuff like that, the top people on a movie at a studio and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, those people are not on set every day. So what happens is Oprah and all those executive producers, they're the ones who essentially get the money. They get the money. They hire the right people, and then when they hire the producers under them, those producers are the ones who hire department heads, make schedules, worry about the pay and all. Like it's a whole bunch of stuff that the top people don't really. They don't have like a part in it. So if something happens in your North Carolina office, right? Something really bad happens and you're disgruntled about it, you can't just automatically blame the CEO of Home Depot for what happened in your office. Because 9 times out of 10, the CEO doesn't know what happened. So that's the same thing with Oprah. I have been on movie sets, and I'll tell you this about working in the entertainment industry, especially on movie and television sets. There's no real HR. There's not a whole, like, yes, you might have SAG and some other stuff, but there's a lot of shit that sometimes happen on movie sets that's wrong as hell. And a lot of times when you are newer in the business and you just trying to pay your bills and you don't really have too much pull, you sometimes just have to deal with it because you don't want to be labeled difficult and all that stuff. I agree. Somebody with like y'all know I feel in my bathroom. That's my toilet, y'all. I'm so sorry. Sorry, y'all. Disrespectful. Taraji has used this whole press run to kind of, and I get Taraji should be getting paid top dollar for what she does, but I made a other video explaining why. The press run for a movie that's getting rave reviews, that's about to go into theaters, and that could really put an extra spotlight on your career, that is not the place to air your grievances with Oprah and the set of Color Purple and how you were treating bad. Now, I will say, some of the stuff Taraji said, for a movie to be that big over, I have personally never worked on $100 million set. I think the biggest movie I worked on maybe was like 50 million. I was on a set for that, but I haven't worked on one of those super big blockbuster movies yet. And as somebody who works behind the scenes and works closely with producers, and as I'm getting into the producer world, I know how stuff operates. And I'm going to get back to what Taraji was right about, making demands. But to me, using this press run to air your grievances out, and I know Oprah is mad as fuck. You could just see by that clip, Oprah was just like, ooh, y'all motherfuckers got me messed up, because they're just like, oh, all this was happening on the set, blah, 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 blah. And Oprah was like, well, hey, I didn't know. As soon as I found out, I fixed it. Taraji is going on this kind of like press run, talking about the discrepancies and displeasure she's had on set and about her career. But Taraji, I'm going to be real with you, mama. A lot of your problems is on you and your team. Taraji is talking about pay and da 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 da. And Taraji, you have been set up numerous times in the business to take off. Like when she said, well, yeah, I was on Empire and Cookie was known for her fashion. Why didn't I have a book deal? A boot deal for because Cookie was known for her shoes. You're right. You should have had your foot in your team's ass, your agents, your managers, your publicists. You should have been on top of them to have all that stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you what happens in Hollywood, right? If you are there's two kind of representatives in Hollywood. You have the reps, the agents, the managers who really put in work for their clients and try and like really put in 8-10 hours a day trying to get deal for their clients. Or you have the passive agents who kind of just wait for opportunities to come and they just want to get that check. They want to get their 10 or 15% from their client. It sounds like Taraji, because she was already on Empire, and let's just say Taraji was making $30,000 an episode on, I'm just saying for instance, she was making $30,000 an episode on Empire, and she had an agent who was getting 10%, and she's filming an episode per week. That agent may not feel inclined to do shit because that agent is getting their $15K a month because they're getting 10% of every check Taraji has, and they're probably just not feeling the need to aggressively go and seek opportunities for Taraji. But I know for a fact in life, especially entertainment, even if you're assigned to the best agency in the world, you can't just sit back and wait for them to get opportunities for you. You should have been out there grinding just as hard, hitting up your agents, having weekly meetings, reaching out and using your star power to get more deals to you. So I think that Taraji feels like, I should have had all of this should have been given to me. They didn't do this for me. They didn't do that for me. But Taraji, it really isn't anybody's fault but you and your teams. And I know she eventually said she fired her team because they didn't do her right. But you guys are just straight up like blaming Oprah because, like I said, there's a whole Oprah hate train going on. Oprah is not the end all be all. Now, what I will say to Taraji and her cast members' point, the fact that they didn't have, I don't know anything about pay. If Taraji felt like she was underpaid, that's on her. Again, I'm from the mindset of if you agree to work for a certain amount, you can't then come on set and then complain about it. If you felt that The Color Purple should have paid you $1 million, but they only offered you $400,000, Taraji, and you accepted it, and y'all negotiated the best you can, and you accepted it, you can't come on work, come to set and complain. That's what I hate about some people. I'm not saying that was Taraji's thing, but she shouldn't be complaining about pay if she agreed to it. Now, the fact that Taraji said in an interview that they had wanted the cast of The Color Purple to drive themselves to set, that's insane. I have never been on a production unless it's like a super independent, low budget, but a major production. I have never been on a production where the actors had to drive themselves to set. I was on one movie in which one of the lead actors, and he's a pretty notable, like he's black famous. He lives in Atlanta. So what happened was, since he lived in Atlanta, and I think he was one of the leads that, he was the only lead that was like Atlanta based. Everybody else had like flew in from, I think, like Chicago and California. He lived in Atlanta. So, and he had like a nice whip, so he didn't need a car service or whatever. He drove to set each day. He didn't care because he lived here. Typically what happens for that is if all the actors are staying in one hotel, normally most productions have anywhere between 1 to, hold on, you. Pardon me. They have like 1 to 4 Sprinter vans. And the Sprinter vans are just because typically you don't, if you're shooting on location, depending on the parking lot situation, they may have cast and crew park at a certain place and then they'll just shuttle people in. As far as the actors are concerned, normally most of the actors stay in the same hotel. So they'll just like send a Sprinter van and like have like a general call time for everybody. And even if like, let's say Taraji was supposed to be on set at 7 and Danielle might supposed to be on set at 8:30, they may ask Taraji and Danielle, hey, can y'all both be ready at 6:30 so they could pick them up, bring them to set, and then Danielle could just maybe, if she wants, stay in her trailer while Taraji is there. It's just different things you could do. Telling A-list talent to drive themselves to set is crazy. And why it's crazy is not that they're incapable, but Taraji is right. It is a insurance liability. Because what happens is if Taraji is driving to set, Taraji gets in an accident, she gets messed up, and they have to shut down production, they're losing thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars each day. So you do essentially have to baby the celebrities in a way because you don't want them to get hurt, you don't want them to get sick, you don't want anything to happen. So you make it as comfortable for them as possible, because if you're in the middle of filming and something bad happens to one of your actors, or they get stuck on the highway in traffic, losing an hour on a big production, it's like thousands of dollars, because then your days get pushed back, and then you're gonna have to pay your whole cast and crew overtime. It's a lot of shit. So that was crazy. What else was crazy is them giving the cast they didn't give them individual dressing rooms. That's insane. Having notable people there with no food, That's insane. So that's some crazy things that I don't know who was in charge of coordinating this, because even me, I ain't nowhere near the level to be on a Color Purple production on the top. But I even know legitimate logistics. The bigger actors, if you have a certain amount, if you're on the call sheet as a 1, 2, or 3, more than likely you're gonna get a dressing room. Even if it's for the day, even if it's for a few hours, you need a dressing room. You need to make sure there's food there. You need to have crafted, which is craft services. So it's insane to me how they dropped the ball significantly. And knowing that this is Warner Brothers, I just want to hope that it's not Warner Brothers, but it was just somebody just made a big mistake. Because you guys realize the reason why there's so much people on a set is because of shit like this. One wrong person or one person who is incompetent could mess up a whole production. Look at the situation with Alec Baldwin where he accidentally deleted and killed that woman on set. He shot the gun, but the gun was supposed to be fake and the gun was not supposed to have bullets in it. He, as an actor, was just given the gun. The person, the armorer and the prop master who didn't verify that and do all what they were supposed to do, they're to blame. So, as simple as it seems, when people drop the ball, it's a domino effect. So, Oprah was just getting a whole bunch of backlash to the point where Oprah really... Oprah has to...
In Atlanta, this is an issue. I'm not in charge of the budget. Robbing people. What do I look like trying to take myself to work in a rental car?
Whenever I heard that there was something that people needed, I'm not in charge of the budget because that's Warner Brothers. You know, that's the way the studio system works. And we as producers, everybody gets their salary. That's negotiated by your team. And so whenever I heard there was an issue or there was a problem with the cars or there was a problem with the food, I would step in and do whatever I could to make it right. First of all, I just want to say that from the beginning, when I got the first phone call that they were being asked to rent cars because they were in the middle of rehearsal.
Well, I asked for my own car because I like to drive myself. I'm a Southern woman.
So I heard that Taraji was upset because she'd been asked to do a rental car. I personally called Toby Emmerich, who was at the time the head of Warner Brothers, and he said, well, that means we have to do cars for everybody. Then I said, then we do cars for everybody. And if it's necessary, I will pay for the cars myself. He goes, well, we don't want you to do that. So, you know, that was one thing, trailers were another thing, food was another thing.
And everything got handled.
I just like, Miss O, we gotta fix this. And she said, say left.
And I truly, and just to give you an example, that's really what happens. Oprah, maybe she was on set for The Color Purple for a couple of days, but Oprah was not there to know all the stuff that was going on. So whoever the studio put in charge, they dropped the ball severely. And I'll be honest with you, I had all plans on watching The Color Purple, but I'm so turned off because of all what happened. And then it's even just like they're coming out and just blaming Oprah for everything. And I'm telling you, for somebody who works in the industry, it's not Oprah's fault, y'all. Maybe the people that Oprah and the other producers put in charge messed up. And I don't know if they were going over budget and they were decided to cut costs, which was stupid. Yeah, because like now the movie is like, it seemed like every interview was the stars, Taraji, Danielle, just talking shit about the production. We didn't have food. And to me, this is where media training comes in. We haven't seen Taraji in a film in a minute. And this is what I would have done if I was Taraji or if I was one of the disgruntled stars. This is just me. Because then again, y'all embarrassing Oprah on these different interviews. And trust me, Oprah is not going to forget about stuff like that. And then other people, directors and producers are just like, well, shoot, I'm not going to cast Taraji because if something go wrong, she gonna go talk shit about it on the press run. So Taraji, you're being disgruntled about your pay, and I'm not saying you shouldn't feel, but on a press run, I just don't feel like that was the right place to do it, because the momentum of The Color Purple, I would have showed up, did great interviews and all that stuff, because I would have wanted to have that visibility to get my next job. Trust and believe you me, behind the scenes, my team would have been on Warner Brothers and whoever the other producers neck, making sure everything gets handled. That's why you have a team. I just don't feel like it was smart for her to go out and like bash the production, because like it's essentially like you're selling a product, and then while you're selling me the product, you're telling me all the shit that's wrong with the product. So somebody's like, well, damn, I ain't gonna buy that vacuum cleaner from you. You said the vacuum cleaner cut out after 30 minutes and it's made in a sweatshop and sometimes the filters go bad. I don't want to buy this. So like with me seeing all the stuff that's going wrong with Color Purple, I'm not really inclined to watch it now. And Monique came out, and I like Monique. She came out and she went in on Oprah too. Shout out to Chronicles Speak. I'm getting the. Okay, so this is what Monique said about Oprah again.
First of all, and I just want to give you step by step, okay? Mm-hmm. When you hear those sisters say, when we showed up, we didn't even have any trailers. When we showed up, there was no food. When we showed up, we had to get ourselves to the set. When you hear all of these things, and who was at the helm of this production, James? Oprah Winfrey. Okay, so when you hear all of these things, and then you start saying, see, this is the treatment of the black actress. It's nothing new. It's nothing new that the trailers are subpar. It's nothing new that either the food is subpar or there's no food at all. That's nothing new. So when Oprah Winfrey sits at the helm and Taraji P. Henson says, it's an honor that we were handpicked. We were handpicked for this movie. Well, if they were handpicked for that movie, those women should have been taken care of from the moment go. Right. There's no way they should have walked up and there were no trailers. There's no way there was no food. And then when you hear Oprah say, but when Taraji called me, what did I do, Taraji? Lady O fixed it. When Taraji called Oprah, what happened was, James, Oprah got caught. That's what happened. And if you look up.
All right. I agree, because y'all know I love Monique. I agree with some of what Monique said, but I genuinely, y'all, don't think Oprah was out here trying to do wrong. It just doesn't work like that. That's just like, again, the top CEO of the company you work for, who you don't have that much interactions with. You come out and you put the company on blast, and the CEO may not know what's going on because they're all the way over there and you're dealing with stuff in your office. So I feel bad for all parties involved. I feel bad that the actors got the treatment that they got. I feel bad for Oprah. If Oprah genuinely wasn't responsible, I feel bad that they're just dragging Oprah for stuff, because the movie apparently isn't doing well for what they expected. Because I think, and I'm positive, because I've seen it myself, a lot of people say they're not watching the movie because of how Oprah treated people, and it just sucks. And like I said, to me, if I was Taraji, I just feel like Taraji shouldn't have went about airing all her grievances with Hollywood and all that stuff during the press run. That's just my opinion. But anyway, y'all, I gave y'all a nice long video. If you like this video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you've seen The Color Purple. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Peace.